Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to season 2 of Conversations in Pop Culture. And I have a bunch of links up above that everybody should check out to support everybody involved in this podcast in some format or other and buy me a coffee. And yes, we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. It is the 30th anniversary. And I have Ian Flynn, who's been writing Sonic the Hedgehog for almost 2 decades at this point, and the Super 8 winner, Killian McMurphy, or the Killian McMurphy, if you will. So, guys, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Who?
But, yeah. Have you ever heard of Sonic the Hedgehog? It's this funny blue rat, right? And there's this guy with a mustache. And
Is he anything like Crash Bandicoot?
He's not really as cool, but he's a lot faster.
Okay. All right.
He's kind of dorkier. That guy. Yeah, I know that guy from the ice cream.
I joke, but when you sit down and crunch the numbers, I've spent 15 years on this franchise, and it's like, okay, that's my life now. So, yeah.
Did it start? did it start like my hyperfixation with Sonic the Hedgehog, as I call it, has started around? It's super recent, like the beginning of COVID, and
oh wow,
it's funny. I mean, I played like adventure growing up and stuff like that. Like I played Sonic games my whole life, but as far as like reading the comics and really getting into the series, it's like the movie really kicked it off for me. It's funny how when a fixation like that hits you at the right time, it can turn into your career. Because like I think about, I got hyper fixated with professional wrestling at one point, and now professional wrestling is my, like, I come out to Sonic the Hedgehog music, but professional wrestling's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's the thing that I do. So it's funny how it hits you at the right time and it just turns into your thing. And do you feel like you still, it's a very deep question, do you still love it the same? I know you don't love it in the same way, but do you still love it at the same level you did when you fell in love with it?
First off, I got to ask.
I struggle with professional wrestling.
What track do you come out to?
It's funny. He said the Super 8. He brought up the Super 8. So I came out to 3 different songs during the Super 8 when I won it. Didn't know I was going to win it. Just happened to go with a little like MP3 thing with 3 Sonic songs. I went with I Am All of Me, which is what I come out to normally. The Shadow song, which I think is the most badass intro in the history of any Sonic game.
I mean, that of all the songs you were going to pick, I'd be really surprised if that wasn't at least one of them.
Right. And I'm a bad guy, so I don't want to like Live and Learn is a really good guy song for me. That's what I came out to in the final round because I thought like the epicness of the moment.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And then the second round I came out to Night of the Wind, which like has really good, like driving thing at the beginning, and it's all songs that except Live and Learn that drop kind of quick, which is also important in professional wrestling, that you got to get out there before people are like just staring at the curtain waiting for a moment and they get bored and they start looking at their phones and not caring.
Nice, good selection, excellent choice.
Yeah, I love coming out to the Shadow the Hedgehog song. I wrestled at this one place and they're kind of a stickler for like copyright free music, and I had a song long ago that still wasn't copyright free, but it was different. But ever since then I've been coming out to Shadow the Hedgehog song, and they came up to me and they're like, do you have your music? Like, we don't have your music. And I knew they were a stickler for it, and I still had no idea, so I just literally looked up I Am All of Me remix. And I got my fingers crossed that they won't get dinged, and then they'll never book me again. So,
I don't know. Overall, Sega seems pretty cool about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not a line. It's not a line that you want to toe too much, but they seem pretty cool about people, enjoying their work. So that's not an endorsement of legal policy, legal disclaimer. I'm not saying use their music, blah blah blah, but. In general, they seem pretty chill about it. Anyway, you asked me a question. And the answer is pretty much, exactly as you said. I do still love the franchise. It is who I am. It's what I've loved and devoted a great deal of time to. I still find a lot of creative energy in it. I am older, wiser, more bitter than I was when I got started, but that's just, that just comes with age. That comes with the territory.
Right.
And just because I am a little more, or I guess I should say, now that I have the sparkle, the splendor of it kind of worn down, it still feels exciting. I still get a bit of a thrill seeing a book on the shelf, or just meeting a fan that says, "Oh my God, I started reading your stuff whenever."
Yeah.
Although that's making me feel increasingly old. There
it
was
just this year for me, if that helps. It was literally just this year.
That's what's really cool about Sonic in general, is that I meet fans from all over, like folks who started with the movie, and then they got it in their veins, and now you're stuck.
Yep, absolutely.
The blue runs through you now. And I have folks who've been reading it since, the same time I was, but they've been enjoying it as long as I have, and they're in the, hey kitty, and they're, in their 30s and their 40s. I went to a professional dinner with some of the folks working at Sega, and one of their newer employees was like, "I started reading midway through your run when I was in high school." And I'm like, "Oh God, that's really cool." I also think I felt the gray hair creeping in. So it's just, once you get into Sonic and you're like, "Oh wait, this is cool," there's so much to enjoy that you just kind of get hooked on it.
Yeah,
you get hooked on Sonics.
So for me,
there's so many different. That's what's great about him as a character, and like not just a video game character, but any like franchise. He's like very like transcending with different media. You know what I mean? Like the comics are so good, and thank God the movie was so good, because they still have that on Mario. Like they can say what they want about the Mario games being better, but everything else, Sonic absolutely smokes them. Funny blue rat all the way.
and then obviously, I don't know how you guys know that I came into it. So I came in with Venture 2 for the GameCube, and then I sort of knew a little bit about your run, and I picked up your run when sort of midway through, your first run with Archie, and then I sort of fell off. And then when IDW picked it up, I was super, super stoked, because it's almost like a new launch, and it's just been very exciting. And then I sort of, after about 12 issues, fell off, and then I just got a Comixology subscription, and I've been reading it ever since. And now I'm super excited, because it's kind of fun to sit down and read all this and also have a new beginning to it. And what is that like? Because you are, a much more veteran comic writer, and that now, IDW is putting a lot of force behind it, and IDW is killing it. And, I love what IDW has done with it, and even just the cover art and all that stuff. And it's super, super exciting what's going on with that, and to get that launch and that reboot happening, and then have a company like IDW backing it, and then putting, I think the A-team behind this, and getting to work on it and continue to work on it, because you're the guy who knows everything about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, not everything. I'm sure there's something I don't know about.
I know everything about Sonic the Hedgehog.
There we go.
If you don't want to take credit,
you can pick up my slack. How about that? Tag in.
Absolutely, any day, whatever you need. I'm behind it 1,000%.
Being on it through so many different runs and such is a little bittersweet, because I grew up reading the original Archie book, and all of its wonderful weirdness. Multiple editors, multiple writers, the brand itself changing from the, how do you handle a licensed book in the early 90s versus the reintegration of elements with the Adventure launch in 99, and just all that crazy stuff that came together. And I got to contribute to it. I got to pick up the torch and run and add to this mythos that I grew up on. So when we had to end it, it was devastating. I had plans. There was a vision, there was a plan, and my dream job was taken away. And to a degree, I mean, I was still on board, but what I was trying to do, which was very personal to me, was no longer available. And I try not to be too down about it because I did have a very long run with that part of the mythos, and I got to do a lot of stuff with it. So there's a certain degree of satisfaction to be had there. When we did the reboot, it was kind of fun because we were able to start fresh without all the baggage that had come before. All the different ups and downs of the previous book, all the continuity that was hanging around the necks of these characters was gone, and we could reinterpret it in a way that was both familiar to folks who'd been on the book forever like me, or folks who only played the games or didn't really know anything aside from Sonic is blue and that weird kid with the two tails follows him around sometimes. A nice melting pot of the two. And we really crafted some really cool stuff at that time too. And again, we had a plan, we had a vision, we were coming up to our milestone issues. It was going to be, I think it was Sonic 250, or no, 300, and Universe number 100, I think was what we were aiming at. And then the license ended. It's like, well, I know this feeling. And so IDW came knocking at my door and said, hey, we hear you know what to do with hedgehogs. Would you like one more go? It's like, yes, I do enjoy being able to pay my bills. So sure, let's do it again. And doing something that was much more game-centric, much more tied to the true continuity was an interesting challenge. It was, for me, it was kind of a nice fresh start because I had to look at it in a new way. And it was great because in a way it was new again for me. But there is that bittersweetness where it's like, I had plans and I can't follow them through now. And it's just, it's frustrating on a creative level. Yeah. But it's also been an invaluable learning experience because I'm no longer plotting these 2 or 3 year long epics with all these intricate subplots trying to tie together. Just tell the damn story. You get 12 months, tell the story, be done. Well, that was it. Now Evan Stanley is the lead writer, so it's her problem. She can do it her way.
She's killing it. She's doing great. I love her stuff. I really I didn't really know anything about her until I read Chow Races and Badnik Bases. And like I just fell in love with the way that she writes characters. Like her character development is so much fun, especially for the characters that were in that story. Like Rouge and like I'm a huge Cream the Rabbit fan. Big fan of the Sonic Advance 2. Played it a lot when I was a kid. I'm sure my mother got it because she thought it was the same as Adventure 2. But it doesn't matter how we got there. I was playing it either way. I absolutely loved it. It's such a
when the editor said, you've had a long run, but we're gonna shift you over here and we're going to have someone else take the lead. And I'm like, okay, who's it going to be? It's going to be Evan Stanley. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Good hands. That's fine.
She's awesome. I really love her stuff because I wasn't sure either when I saw that it wasn't written by you. I was like, And it's definitely, sorry, I'm a little bit sick. It's definitely like a different feel from your stories for sure. Like, especially that first one because it was a lot more slice of life. I mean, it had some like intense moments, right, with the Chow and the cages. Like it's very like emotionally gripping, but a lot less action oriented. And then they do Test Run, and Test Run is like super action oriented, but it's a very like different kind of action. Like it's very surreal. The way that she wrote Test Run, like it's very, very, very interesting, and like the appearance of the old machines with the different spins on it, like really, really cool. Big fan of that. But very excited for 41. If we can talk about 41 for a second.
Oh, sure. It's been out for a week, so
yeah. Super stoked.
Spoilers beware, but
yeah, if you're listening, I hope you've read it already. Yeah, I'm so excited about that. Um, uh, I had a question off the top of my head. I can't remember it about 41, but I'll go to my other
To
question.
even talk about 41, because obviously one of the things that I love about your Sonic the Hedgehog run and with IDW is that cover art has been phenomenal on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the thing, that there's the first 4 issues were phenomenal, how they all sort of connect with each other. And I love that. And those are the cover A's. And they're going for good money on eBay now, which is unfortunate because I only have like 2 of them. So I'm upset about that. But even going beyond that, the cover A's are really good. And then the cover B's are amazing. And then there's all these variants that have come out. And I'm a variant collector, and so what is that like for you? Because obviously this is sort of embodying what Sonic the Hedgehog is, and that's sort of what sold me a lot on this story. And I've been sort of collecting here and there a bunch of these variants, and I just love staring at it because it reminds me of my childhood. And that's what I love about the IDW run more than even the other runs that you've been on, where it's almost like the video game. It reminds me of Venture 2 and all the Sonic games I played growing up.
yeah, very character centric.
I'm not usually involved with the cover design. Every now and again, I'll have an idea, and I'm like, "Hey, guys, you want to do it this way?" And they're like, "Yeah, that would be cool." Or, "No, sorry, we can't do that." There was one time when I was writing the Sonic X book, where the original cover is Sonic running down the highway straight towards you. It looks like an animation still because Patrick Spaziante is inhumanly good.
Yeah.
And super freaking humble too. So just all around great guy. And then for the 25th issue, it was a spoof of that, except Sonic was fighting all these recolor clones on the cover. I was like, well, we know we're going to end with issue 40. Can we do a spoof on that? Only Sonic is running down the highway away from us, waving back as if to say goodbye. And my editor was like, that's brilliant. We've already commissioned this cover instead. And it's like, But whenever we have a chance to do the triptych covers, the interlocking covers that make one big poster, I am always pushing for that because I freaking adore when covers link up like that. It's so freaking cool. I love it.
That's super dope. I remembered my question, and it's a silly question. Belle the Tinker, does she have a Southern accent?
Ooh, that would be a question for Evan.
I knew you would say that.
And you know what? I'm really curious about that now. I'm gonna have to ask her.
When you read her, have you ever thought to read her? I guess not. I can tell by your reaction. I for some reason read her with a Southern accent. I don't know why. She's not written in the I am like Bunny used to.
Right. And that was always a challenge when writing phonetically. It's like, how would you stop? The cat is nuzzling the mic stand. The question is, how phonetic do you get when you're doing an accent? Because it becomes unintelligible if you write it too phonetically.
Right.
But with Belle, I always imagine something just not so much an accent as a particular tone of voice. Just very innocent and pure and a little skittish, I guess.
Right. Scared. I thought she was going to be evil. I mean, I guess there's still time, right? But I thought that was going to be I thought she was going to be made by Starline. That was going to be a big swerve. And I was just totally off base. I know nothing. Do you want to ask your Bunny's question? She's a big fan of Bunny Rabbit.
As she should be, because Bunny's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. I just got into reading the beginning of the Archie series. I'm on like 27 right now, so it's been a very interesting ride so far.
Buckle up, the ride never ends.
I know. It stresses me. I just met Jeffrey. He really stresses me out.
Oh boy.
I got a lot of weird feelings toward him. I kind of want to fight him a little bit.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I scream at Twitter about the funny skunk man. Nobody in professional wrestling has any idea what I'm talking about, but I guess that's what landed me here, right? It's very exciting. Isn't it interesting? And we were just talking about this before we went on air. How there's just like immediately two two French characters. Like within the first 30 issues of Archie, like you have Antoine, and then you have Jeffrey St. John, who's French, right? Is that his deal? Is he French?
He's Australian or he's British. It changes as the book goes on.
Oh, okay. I wasn't reading him with a British accent. I thought he was French. That's what I thought Love was. Now I'm totally different now. Now he's even hotter. Now I'm even more mad. God.
So,
Basically, Jeffrey St. John is a poor man's James Bond.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You'll get those vibes real clear as the book goes on.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how Princess Sally, and I don't know how much you can go into like other people's work like this, or how much you would be interested in like critiquing something like this, but like, isn't it interesting how Princess Sally's only in it for like a book and a half, and then she's in a coma for the rest of it?
That miniseries has such a storied history with it. And granted, this is all like third-hand info on my end.
Yeah.
But like, apparently it was specifically commissioned by Sega to test out her viability as a character. I don't know if you know this, but she was actually really big in Sega of Australia.
Right,
like,
they got the little statue there, right?
Statues, plushes, toothbrushes. If you see any Sally merch, it most likely came from Sega Australia. Like, she was part of the stage show. She was huge over there.
That's crazy.
And so the miniseries was supposed to like test her out, and the initial pitch was her and Bunny, and the adventure involved finding Queen Acorn, who was like leading this band of mutants in the sewers of Robotropolis.
And that would have been a game?
That would have been the miniseries. That was the original comic plan.
That would have been so much cooler.
Yeah, it would have. And you can actually find in the letter section of some of the early books the sketches for the triptych cover, and it's completely different. And you've got this hooded figure who was supposed to be the queen kind of reaching out across all three covers, which got reused in the Knuckles book later on in terms of concept.
Right.
But it was, from my understanding, it was decided that Bunny was too cool to be right next to Sally. She would kind of steal the focus. This was meant to be the Sally book. So that's why Bunny was traded out for this new team of freedom fighters and Jeffrey, so that, you know, Sally was the standout. Except, as you said, it's not Sally for like half the book.
And she's not the standout at all. It's all about doofus, stupid, sexy skunk man.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Because there's a lot of potential drama surrounding around that, so I'm just going to back away slowly. But
yeah, no, I figured. And that's what I brought up at the beginning of this conversation about critiquing somebody else's work. I totally get that. But, you know, it definitely is interesting reading through the beginning of the Archie series, to say the least. Knuckles' dad is now spying on him, which is interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know for sure that it's his dad yet, but I kind of know that it's his dad. So I'm ready to meet Laura to Larry, Moe, Shemp, and all the funny kids. I'm sorry, all my questions are going to be super intense. Andrew, do you have a lighter question than that? Like your question from earlier?
Hey man, it's all good. This has been my life for like 15 years, man. Whether it's the simple stuff like, who's your favorite Sonic character, or why doesn't the metabolism for Rotor attribute to his weight gain between issues? I've had it all, man. I've had it all.
Hey, at least we're not getting attacked on Twitter for it yet. Because that's happened between you and me. That was funny, though. That was funny. For those who don't know that story, somebody was trying to be a troll, and you shot me a DM, and I'm like, just let him go. Just let him keep going. The guy's going to hang himself. And it was great because he just kept going. I'm like, it's cool, man. Ian's a great guy. No, he's not. I'm like, dude, he's a great guy. He just kept going, and after like 15 comments of me just being very polite, like he just tired himself out. And the guy looked like a complete asshole. It was the most beautiful Twitter response in the history of Twitter responses.
You got
I'm
more
so mad
patience than me.
I'm so angry and so confrontational about the funny blue rat on Twitter. I say so many like hard hitting and like I'd be like, if you don't think this, you're wrong. Like very intense, and nobody ever comes for me. I don't.
You're just
I
in the
don't
wrong
understand.
circles, man.
I know. I need.
There will be those that square up.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for it. I hope for tonight. If you like Jeffrey St. John, give me a follow and tell me why. Happy 30th anniversary, everybody.
So obviously, lots going on with the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
And so obviously the 30th anniversary book just dropped today. And so what is that like for you? Because you've contributed massively to Sonic the Hedgehog for half of, pretty much all Sonic the Hedgehog. A lot of the comic stuff, you've advanced it. You've done a lot of video game tie-in stuff. And so, like, it's crazy to me that, like, how do you feel that even a book was released on it in a comic format and the series is still going with IDW and all that stuff? Because it's wild. There's been a bunch of cool stuff going on. It's trending on Twitter too, which is always cool when that happens. And obviously, I mean, you're known for this, and I would imagine you must feel pretty good about it. And it must be pretty cool.
Like because normally we've been doing annuals for the past 2 years. And then this time it's like, okay, we only have the time and the budget for one. It's the 30th anniversary. We need to do something a little more special than just here's an annual. And let's do a classic book because we hadn't seen classic Sonic yet. And people have been asking for it. And I got to pitch a couple of ideas. What would you want to do? And Seasons of Chaos was kind of like my big gimme list. It's like, if I can get a fraction of this, I'll be happy. And I got all of it, like 100%. So, and then Aaron and Reggie, who were the primary artists on it, they added even more to it. And they're like, do you think we can get away with this? I'm like, maybe be up front, but go for it, man. So there's like these, there's some cameos in there among the badniks that are really fun that I never even thought of. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is great. I hope it gets in. And just the book itself is freaking gorgeous. My story, Gail's story, the gentleman who wrote the other story, the McElroy brothers. Their story is, the whole thing is just exquisite. And I would like to go on and on about a certain element of it, but the book just dropped today. There are folks who haven't read it yet, and I really don't want to spoil the surprise because the number of characters I got to play with is astounding.
That's exactly what I was going to say about the classic universe. Is like, and I'm so glad you said that, and I'm so glad that you said you weren't going to ruin it because the characters that came to mind when you say classic, like, it's so exciting. And I know one in particular is probably very exciting for you.
Big the cat, right? Big the cat, right?
Oh, absolutely. I love Big. Big is life. But no, it's just like, I don't know. I have a lot of fun with classic because it doesn't have to be melodramatic. It doesn't have to have a dire threat looming over everyone's shoulder at any given time. It's almost like Looney Tunes. I was really picking up the torch from Tyson Hess's Sonic Mania Adventures cartoons. I wanted to capture that spirit of just fun.
Yeah.
And, get access to as much of the classic stuff as I could along the way. And boy, howdy did I get it. So,
yeah. And what I love about this, and obviously it's very exciting, and I don't want to ruin anything either for people out there, but it's this idea that you're not just capturing the IDW crowd. There's a whole bunch of people, Lisa Ortiz, who was on my show, who plays Amy Rose, her nieces and her nephews are now watching like the Sonic Boom and Sonic X cartoons. And that's a generation you're capturing. You're capturing people who have been reading for 30 years and been reading for 25 years. You're capturing new people. And so you're playing with a whole spectrum, and you're capturing people who are into the movies and all that stuff. And so obviously it's very cool when you get to bring it back and you get to capture what the heart of Sonic is in a lot of ways. And that's what this book does. And also there's a bunch of covers. There's the cover A, the cover B are very easily to get, and they're both awesome. And so it's very cool because you're paying a lot of respect to every single Sonic fan, no matter where you came in, and there's something for everybody in this book.
Yeah. That's what we try to do, because Sonic I've been busy all day. I haven't been able really to enjoy the 30th anniversary. Like, I see people going nuts about the concert, and I'm like, I bet it sounds good. But
it was
even though I've only been able to glance at Twitter throughout the day, just the amount of joy that people are having just makes me vicariously happy. I don't have to be, in the thick of it. I can just see how happy and how excited everyone is about it. And that's just great. That's just a wonderful thing. Sonic brings joy. And
absolutely.
That's just a great thing.
Absolutely. This is the first comic book that I've ever read, actually. Talk about getting new fans into new things. Yeah, IDW made me walk to the comic book store to see if it was there. I just ingested all the Sonic content I possibly could, and there was nothing else left. And I was like, I guess I'm a comic book guy now. And then I read, I think it was in the midst of the Metal Virus was the latest one. I picked up Infection. That's what it was. I picked up the book of Infection.
Okay.
And it was incredible. And I had to go back and I had to get every single one, and down to the Team Sonic Racing tie-in stuff. Literally had to get everything. And I am now, like I said, reading the Archie thing. So you made a comic book fan with it, talking about getting new fans into new things.
So I'm curious on your end, Killian. What is that like? Because I've been a comic fan for almost 15 years now. And I came in when I was 11, 12. Actually, I've been probably almost 16 years now. And so obviously I came in graphic novel-wise, and you're now new to this entire thing. So what is that like? Because going into a comic shop for the first time must be super, super interesting and weird also, because you've never been in one before.
She was with me
from that angle for you, Killian.
She was with me when it happened, and it was they also have tabletop games in my local portals in I can't actually, I'm not gonna say where it is. I'm gonna tell people where I live. That'd be awful. I wanted to plug them, but so we walk in there and they're playing tabletop games and making a lot of noise. And it was very, very intimidating to have all these nerds intensely screaming at each other. And I have never played a tabletop role-playing game in my life. And I actually just started D&D campaign for the first time 2 weeks ago, which is another interesting experience. I guess I'm full blown now. Went in there to buy a set of dice, and they asked me, do you want to open an account? We see you in here buying the funny Blue Rat comics, little man. Do you want to open up an account with us? Huh? They didn't say all that, obviously. But but the first time I walked in there was honestly, like I said, super intimidating. And I kind of searched around, and I looked in the S section, and I felt like I couldn't find anything. And then I turned and I realized that there was a kid section. Oh, you found them. I didn't know that part of the story. Okay, apparently I'm wrong. Apparently she was the one that said, look over here. Here's the funny blue rat that you've been looking for. Yeah. So that was our story about the first time we went to a comic book shop. Very cute. It's the first time we ever met, actually. That's not true. She was playing the tabletop games, weren't you? You were yelling. You had your little demon slayer was level 43. I'm sorry. I started D&D campaign. I have no idea what I'm doing. I completely trust my dungeon master. I said, I want to make this happen. I want to turn into an animal. And I want to be able to go fast because I want to be a fast hedgehog in the game. That's what I want to do. And they say they can make it happen. I'm I don't know what you guys know about D&D, but apparently I'm some kind of weird goblin thing that lives in the woods. and I'm a druid. Yeah, which is pretty.
I figured if you were transforming, you'd have to be some form of druid. So
Yeah.
No, don't tell me you're playing Siren. Don't tell me you're playing Battle of the Bards Siren, because that'd be really weird if you were.
No, I have no idea like what the actual like thing. Like I said, I completely trust my dungeon. I don't even know like what race I am. I think it's like a it lives in the woods. He's really ugly. He's like a troll man. I can never remember his name. They have such odd names. I couldn't even find the little statue of the guy when I went into the unnamed comic shop that I already said the name of.
the point is, you're having fun.
Oh my God, I'm having such a blast with it.
That's all that matters.
I'm having such an absolute blast with it. I'm awful. My HP is like 8 right now. I'm also level 1, but I know if I take anything when I'm not like a massive bear, I'll die so quickly. Which is very exciting, very thrilling. They told me I was dumb for picking someone who uses magic on my first playthrough. I should have just been like a sword and shield kind of guy. And I'm like, you don't know. You have no clue. Shut up. I'm sorry, super unprofessional over here.
Well, that's Killian's first time in a comic shop.
Oh yeah, so that was a very interesting experience. It was a lot of fun, though. I love that place. And I go in. What's interesting is I go in there all the time, and the stacks of Sonic comics are this high off the shelf, And then I go in there another time, and they're completely gone. There's like 2 of them left, and I never see anybody else in there touching them. But at times they go from the most to the least. So I look around, and I'm like, there are others out there somewhere here locally. In the unnamed town that I won't name again.
This is so bad at so many levels. Killian in the comic shop. That should be a TV show right in the making.
It was such an idea because my character Ian always screams, and it's very ironic because I come out to the Sonic music. I always call people nerds, and I always scream about how people are nerds and dorks, and I'm basically an evil version of Emilio Estevez from The Breakfast Club. so probably the reason Andrew asked me that is because he was imagining me in my my Letterman jacket and tights and wet hair screaming at people while they're playing D&D.
Because that's absolutely what people do in their spare time.
Yeah, for sure. Professional I'm surprised I'm not in it right now. Actually, I am. I just don't want to show you guys my new gear that I'm wearing right now. I just don't have my hair wet.
Oh my God! Just Killian in a comic shop, everybody. Killian in a comic shop.
Yeah, that should be a cinematic with me and.
So Killian, why don't you tell us about the concert?
The concert was very cool. I don't know what I could what I could say to ruin it for everybody. It was very exciting to see like the Crush 40 part too. Like, of course, I love the orchestral stuff, but like once the lead singer of Crush 40 got in there, it was very, very cool. He had a very rock and roll dad kind of vibe, which is exactly what I expected from him. Like everything he said, I was like, of course, that's exactly what the lead singer of Crush 40 would say. And then I was like, I wonder if he would be mad to know if I like use his music for everything I do. Wonder if he'd be flattered or if he'd be mad. If he's a professional wrestling fan, I guess that would depend on that, huh?
And one of the things that I kind of like about this is that I'm a big Gundam fan, and Gundam has been around for about 43 years at this point. And so on the 30th anniversary of Gundam, a while back, they had a concert. And then on the 35th, they did something. And on the 40th, they did something. And they're going to probably do something on the 45th anniversary. And I think it is super important from a property standpoint to do these comic books, the 30th anniversary, to do the idea of, doing, a concert and doing a lot of other things. And so what is that like, knowing that there is a lot of stuff and that this intellectual property is very much still alive and people love it, and that it's really capturing, and that, it's not just the comic, but it's being celebrated across multiple platforms. And it is super important in a lot of ways. And knowing that you added to it and that things obviously, the comics, have tie into the video games, and video games get tied into the comics, and even the music obviously is influenced by all this, and vice versa. And it's very, very interesting. And to celebrate all of that today is just amazing, and I think it's so important in so many ways.
Agreed.
Yeah. That was a question for me, right? And my influence on the Sonic series. It's been great. It's been huge for me. It's the best career move I've ever made. Latching myself onto another property has been absolutely fantastic for me.
And then to go even further, because you have something coming out, and I think I can announce it because it's up for pre-order on Amazon. But I know Dark Horse is actually doing the Encyclopedia, and so that is the entire encyclopedia of Sonic the Hedgehog. And so how did that all come about? Because that's super big as well. And obviously I know there's a bunch of other stuff coming out that's video game related, but what is that like? Because obviously that's a big deal, and it's a fitting year to do it, to let it go. I think it's coming out either October or November. And I know that you're one of the main contributors and writing it and putting it out there. And obviously Dark Horse does a really nice job with this stuff. And what is that like, going through a lot of the history as well?
Well, I've got a brief but very good history with Dark Horse. I was one of the localizers for their Mario Encyclopedia. Talk about working behind enemy lines. And then I was a localizer fact checker for the Breath of the Wild book that they did, which, God, that was gorgeous. Like, that was such a cool book. And so good rapport there. They know me, I know them. And they're like, all right, we're going to be putting together this tome that's going to be just the history of the Sonic games. Do you want to write it? And I'm like, you want to pay me to geek out over my lifelong obsession? Yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's do this thing. So it was fun. It was exhaustive, but it was fun because, there's stuff that, gets a little fuzzy in the memory every now and again, researching stuff, going through and again. It's like, oh yeah, that Badnik, or yeah, that zone, or I don't remember that. Huh, that's neat. And just putting it all together, and it's going to be a big book. It's going to be a beefy book.
Well, the canon in general is pretty fuzzy. I mean, you're talking about your memory with that, but the canon in general, a lot of the things, if they're canon or not, talk about fuzzy. Good grief. I'm sure
we're talking about the factual things, not the fuzzy wuzzy timeline. Where does things fit? It's former head of marketing Aaron Weber put it best. Everything is canon.
Love it.
Just accept all that is Sonic, and you will be zen.
Love that. I love that. That's absolutely fantastic.
And so to even go further into that, and not to push too hard, but what is that even like, going back down memory lane? Because I mean, you've written a lot of stuff, and then there's stuff that you haven't touched, and even researching and getting it all, continuity, because things get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
I don't remember what happened 30 issues ago, let alone, and I read that thing like 2 weeks ago, which is horrific. And we're not even talking about, this is like horrific. I don't even remember my interview an hour ago. This is how bad I am. And
you even said that at times you were finding things that like weren't named, and that no one else knew, and you were like, what about this? And everybody was like, I don't know. Like, what was that experience like? You had to feel like a pioneer out on the West.
Little bit.
Discovering ancient treasures.
There were a few that I was like, if there isn't a name, can I pitch a name?
Did they like it? Did they go for it?
I haven't seen the final draft, but there might be Badniks in there that I got to name. Maybe.
That's awesome.
So that one completely missable frog out of like Knuckles Chaotix. Hot damn, I got to name it. But going through it was, very nostalgic. Going through Sonic 2 on the Genesis and thinking about me and my younger brother playing it like this super serious tactical game. I'm Sonic, he's Tails. You run ahead. You distract Eggman. I'll come in behind you. Or, playing, Sonic Adventure because I saved up my lunch money for months to buy a Dreamcast at launch. I had to have that Sonic. And, I played that game to death and then got the GameCube version years later. And my wife hadn't gotten to play it. So she's like, all right, let me see how it is. And she took on Perfect Chaos first thing and managed to kill Perfect Chaos as regular Sonic. Because she ran out of rings right as she got to the end point. The tornado popped her straight up to do the killing blow through his head. Except she was out of rings, so it killed her on impact. So the death animation starts for Perfect Chaos, and the screen goes black and just kind of sits there for a minute. And the game's kind of like, you died, but you won. What do? And she's
That's
like,
that's where they got the idea for Adventure 2. They saw that happen, and they were like, wait a second.
It's all in my head.
We can kill the funny blue rat. We haven't thought of that.
But, just fun going back down and saying, oh, yeah, I remember that, or that was a lot of fun, or man, I'm glad I don't have to play that part again. And the differences between the versions and missing Chow. Man, they need to bring back Chow. Chow were great.
Hot take. They need to bring back Chow. Really hot take. I don't.
Oh my god, hours of raising chows, breeding chows. Oh my god, it's like a whole community. Have you ever been in that community on like Reddit and online? Oh my god, it's like an endless pit, and you just keep going. It's never ending. It's amazing.
It wasn't until Cybershell's video on Chow that I found out about like all the math that goes into like making Chow and like the intensity. I always thought it was like kind of a random thing because I'm just like, oh, I feed the little blue guys, the little formulas. Like Adventure 2 wasn't the first game I played. Sonic 2 was the first Sonic game I played, but Adventure 2 I was like old enough to really, really get into a video game. And it was like one of the first games like I really, really fell in love with and like still loved it. It's still my favorite video game to this day. I think it eats the lunch of any Mario game. And Dustin, my manager, and I argue about that all the time. We faced Leroy Green, which I don't know if you know, is a professional wrestler that plays the Switch while he wrestles.
Yeah, okay.
He will do a head scissors while he's playing a Switch and everything like that. So we came out with a Wii. And usually, because it's my nickname, I'm the Shamrock Shooter. I come out and I yell, shooter. I came out and I yelled, Sega, really loud. And we had a Wii and I had a hammer and we put it on the ground and we destroyed the Wii in front of him. And then he comes out and he looks at the Wii and he looks up at the sky and does the big anime, no. And then, of course, comes in and beats me up and retains his championship. In that same match, I beat him up, took him to the ice cream truck, and I bought a Sonic Pop. And Dustin was feeding me it. And eventually the good guy slaps me with it, slaps him with it, starts making his comeback and beats me. So just like real life, Sega takes the L again, I guess. Really sad.
And speaking about Sonic Pops, that cover B on 41 sort of has a Sonic Pop in it.
Oh, it has a Sonic and a Tails Pop in it. It's so cool.
And it's got some Chaos sodas in it as well.
Yep, Chaos Cola from Adventure, which is an advertisement from Adventure 2, of course. Really, really, really cool cover art. And I think I said it off the air, but I'll say it again for the fans tuning in. What's really cool about that cover is it has nothing to do with the story, except it's what Sonic wants to do the whole time. He just wants to relax. He just wants to get away. But, of course, he's pulled back in by a bunch of BS, and he can't relax on the beach like it's the beginning of the OVA yelling at Tails. So I really like that cover. Honestly, that probably is probably my favorite cover, honestly, that IDW's done yet. The number one's up there, of course. We were talking about it earlier, but God, I love that, especially for cover B. I thought it was so cool.
And then even going back to the encyclopedia, because one of the things that I like that it's going to do is that, and I think this is super important this year in particular, is that it's going to give everybody a real history of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's going to give a definitive history. And I know you did the Mario book. Obviously, you worked on, the Breath of the Wild book. But this is giving, the sort of standard and intro level history, because I'm sure people have been wanting this for a long time at this point. And
what could you even say about Mario? What does he even have going on? I can't believe you would do that. I
it's all right, cut me off.
I'm heartbroken.
He is a worthy rival. I mean, he's been to countless kingdoms. He's been to the moon. There was actually a bit of trivia in there where it said there was this one of the, I think it was one of the 3DS games, and it said, if you get to the end of this Boo House and you wait in front of the flag for up until this amount of time, the spooky faces appear in the background. I'm like, really? Are you messing with me? So I went onto YouTube and looked it up, and sure enough, if you stand there and wait, like these really creepy faces just start to materialize almost like very slow pop scares. And they're not like your standard Boo ghosts. They're like completely out of theme. And it's like, that's really creepy. I looked that up. Yes, that's accurate. Please don't make me go over this again. And it's just...
It's like that hidden screen on CD. That's absolutely...
Yeah, man. I hate that thing.
I love that music. I thought about coming out to that music, too.
It's almost like Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube. That Big is in all these places in the game. And that at the right moment, you can find out Big. It's such a pain in the ass to find him in City Escapes. Because what you have to do is that you have to run during the gun truck. Mm-hmm. And then you have to pause it right at the right moment. And then Big's just like waving. He's like, hi, I'm about to get hit by a truck.
Yep. And then they murder him right there on the street. Pretty brutal. But he's back the next stage, which is crazy. But they run him over in the very first stage of the game, which is very intense.
Yeah, and they broke their axle trying to run him over. You cannot defeat Big.
Yeah, my king.
Big is not a character. Big is a primordial being. Big is love. Big is life.
His moment, all jokes aside, his moment in the Metal Virus, oh my God, talk about like emotionally gripping. Oh my God, well done. Holy shit. I loved it.
I remember I was it was either at a show or we had some friends visiting in town, and I was telling them about the pitch of what we were going to do for the, explaining how it's just one long gag about how Big has always been in the background, just like in SA2. And then the clincher is he's infected, and he just hasn't turned yet because he's just that big. And he's just sitting there watching the sunset as the infection takes him. And my friends look at me and go, what is wrong with you? You are a sick man. That's awful. I'm like, yeah, but it's good, right? Yeah, it's great, but we hate you for it. It's like, yeah, I know, it's great, huh?
It's amazing. I was absolutely either verge of tears or full blown tears. Like reading like when Froggy infected him, like he was so excited to see him, but bam, that was his moment. And what really got me more than anything in that whole saga is SBO, your lead detective now.
Oh yeah, man.
And it's something that's very professional wrestling, the beauty and simplicity. Like simplicity breeds complexity. You know what I mean? Like you have so much to do with these like simple characters, like that leaves room to like have so much emotional development between them. And your lead detective now line absolutely gutted me. Like I get emotional thinking about it. Like, oh my God, one of my favorite things I've ever read in anything.
Thank you very much.
My favorite thing in the entire infection, that whole arc, essentially was the fact that Sonic can't do anything. He's running on a treadmill. And it's just this idea that we have Sonic this is the antithesis of what Sonic is. This is everything he is not. And now all of his friends have to go, and they're doing their job. And I'm sort of ruining it, and they're actually being successful. And he can't do anything. And it's like, this is the first time I remember Sonic being powerless in a long time. And it sounds messed up what I'm about to say, but it's nice to see, everybody sort of doing their job and killing it. And then the main character can't do anything, and he is slowly in a situation where his speed is not working. It's slowly dissipating.
And even more than like it not working, it's detrimental to the situation, and it's something that's touched on. It might be an infection actually, where Eggman's like, "Don't you realize that you running around like has infected everything else?" Like, and like it just lingers there for a split second before Sonic like snacks back into it. But even like it lingering there for a split second, you can tell it had an impact on the character.
It's really amazing writing, and that's what it is. And I think this is something that people don't understand is that you've taken Sonic the Hedgehog, which I don't think people say, oh, it's kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where they sort of view it sort of childish a little bit, and you've actually made it real and you've made it dark in a lot of ways. And I think it's something that elevates it, where this is not a kid's book anymore. That arc is not a kid's arc. It's not meant for a 5-year-old. It's meant for somebody who's 13, 14 in a lot of ways, because there are serious consequences. And it's amazing.
I aim when I don't think of it as a kid's book. I think of it as an all ages book.
Right.
And that's usually, code for kids book. But I mean that I want this to be read by everybody. I want, the kids who are enjoying it to be challenged a little bit. I want the adults who are reading it to go, oh, hey, this is actually kind of fun. And the easiest way for me to approach that is to just not talk down to the kids. Yes, when you get down to it, Metal Virus is a zombie apocalypse story, but there's no bloodshed. There's no actual death. All of the drama just comes from the helplessness of it, which is the intrinsic value of a zombie story.
Yeah.
So you can tell a mature story without being gross or crude or hyper violent. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely a market for that, but you can do it in a variety of different ways. I kind of set the bar for like classic Disney. I mean, you think about Little Mermaid. At the very end, Eric plows that ship straight through Ursula. There's no, oh, he just bumped into her. No, he freaking stabs her, dude. Yeah. She dies slowly and painfully.
Yeah.
Like Tarzan. At the very end, Clayton, you see that silhouette of the dude hanging there. He is freaking dead. Yeah. You don't see a body. You don't hear the snap. You don't, see the bowels release. But the point is, the dude's dead. He didn't die well, and you know it. You don't shy away from it. You just don't have to be overt or gruesome with it.
And there's an art to that in a lot of ways, where you can make something violent without having to show the violence, and everybody gets it, and you don't have to show the blood, and it's a very nice art, because gore is used in a lot of ways. I'm speaking with CB Zane. I don't know if you know who CB Zane is, but we were having a conversation about nude covers in comics and how they're overused now, and you can show the sexiness of a character without having to make her topless. And
there's a bunch of perverts out there making these women topless on the covers of these magazines. I haven't seen those in my local unnamed comic book shop.
It's the back room, Killian. It's the back.
Oh my God! I don't want to go over there. I want to stay far away from that. That's scary.
But I think the point is that what you are doing is that showing the intensity and the consequences, but you're also not having to show all of the blood, the gore, and it's just implied and everybody gets it. And it's really good writing, because depending on how far you go and what you can and can't imply, it could be missed. And it's not missed in Sonic the Hedgehog. And this arc in particular, it's really good writing. And that's super important, where I don't think people understand how complicated that is and what that actually entails and how to make that work. And obviously, I'm trying to write a comic, and it is hard. It is hard to write. There is no doubt in my mind it is hard to write. It's hard to draw. I can't do that either. I'm as big figures as anybody else is.
The amount that was accomplished as far as like intensity of the moment with the half page where Cream holds up her arm, and this might just be because I'm a big Cream stan. When she's like has Metal Virus on her arm and she just says, "I got sick." Like the amount of intensity in that moment that was accomplished, that was equivalent to like, doing something gruesome to her, like, was insane. Like the
I'll
amount of like gripping.
I'll throw out a scene from another book, and it might be a stretch, and I'll take it. But there's a scene in The Walking Dead where Andrea basically gets infected, and she comes back to Rick, and she's almost dying in Rick's arms and in the bed, and the doctors can't do anything, and it's this very intense scene.
Yeah.
And that dream scene is very much like that, where you feel that, oh, this is what this means.
Yeah.
But obviously that Walking Dead scene in the comic, and you didn't read The Walking Dead, I'm sorry everybody if I ruined it, but it's that intensity, it's that level, it's that pain, because you know the character Cream, and everybody knows who Cream is, and everybody knows that this virus at this point is not the first virus-infected victim, and it's just the words "I'm sick" that capture that, and it's so powerful.
And there's probably folks listening right now. They're going, "You're talking about Sonic, the bright, cartoony animals. It doesn't have any business being so grim." And arguably, you're right, but I think it comes down to my philosophy on approaching this kind of material is when you're writing the story, you have to be aware of what it is. These are cartoon characters. They are bright. They are action oriented. You can't get it's not the space for real world politics or really heavy messages. But with that in mind, the characters themselves have to be treated with respect. And when writing them, they have to interact with their world as if they believe in it. It's very easy for us to read this and go, okay, this is a tie-in book. These are cartoon characters. At the end of the day, you close the book and you put it down. The fantasy is over. But as far as those characters are concerned in their world, these are dire circumstances. If you know anything about story construction, you can sit back and go, okay, this is a licensed book. There's no way this is going to stick. Things will have to return to the status quo to appease the license holder. How are we going to get there? But the characters don't know that. The characters have no idea of anything outside of their metacontextual existence. So as long as they treat their world seriously, you buy into it because they're selling the idea.
I agree. And I mean, I read Sonic differently than other people where I'm like, okay, I know this is going to be resolved, but the question is how and where is it going? And that's how I read certain things. Even when I read Batman, I'm well aware at this point that, if Batman's in prison or the Court of the Owls, I'm reading that. That's a good example. Trapped in the maze for like 2.5, episodes or 2.5 issues. And I know he's going to get out of it, but my question becomes is that, okay, how is he going to get out of it and what is he going to do about it? So that's how I read a lot of comics. Now, I also read indie books. And if you're writing an indie title that's backed on Kickstarter, obviously you can do whatever the hell you want to do in that book because you're beholden to no one. Or if I'm reading an image book, I've read books where people have died in the first 3 pages. And I thought this was going to be a main character. Somebody's arm gets cut off. And you're like, oh, snap. I didn't see that coming. So obviously, I understand that. And that's how I read it. And I think a bunch of people read it that way and understand it. But just still, though, unbelievably powerful. That big stuff and that cream stuff. I mean, the fact that that's even there. But and also, even when we go in their world, just because they were cured doesn't mean that the infection and what they experienced isn't still there with them in ways as well, where that's the other thing too, is that, I don't want to sound the way it's going to sound, but PTSD is sort of the first thing I think of where Cream's fine now, but guess what? You were infected 3 issues ago and maybe a month has passed in time, but you were infected and you were sort of messed up a little bit for a while. So
and then we have an arc, right? Okay, I know you don't want to listen to fan ideas, so you might want to mute me on this one. An arc where everyone wants to take Cream to therapy, her whole Vanilla and the whole family, but to get out of it, get this, she turns herself into a pickle. Damn it, turns herself into a pickle. She's a pickle. Accidentally gets flushed down the toilet, has to fight a rat at one point. And then eventually they go to therapy and have the. I don't know if this has been done in any really popular Emmy-winning television programs or anything like that.
Doesn't sound remotely familiar.
No. Turns herself into a pickle. Call her Pickle Cream. Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't know, Rick. That sounds a little hard to pull off.
Sounds like we might get in a lot of trouble. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh! I'm so glad you knew what I was talking about. I would have felt like such a maniac.
It took
You would have been like, "What is
a minute?
That's a very interesting tangent. Please take your medication."
It took me a minute. I didn't know where you were going with it in the first like 10 seconds. So I'm the worst.
Good. Love that. Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep.
So obviously, I want to do speed round with
a speed round. A speed round.
Round.
Ian. All right, I'll answer them too. I'll answer them like I have any authority to have any, like I said, authority on the subject. Here we go. Speed round.
We're gonna do marry, mess with, and murder.
Oh my God! I hate this game already. No, I don't like this.
Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles?
Disgusting.
Let's see. The running gag is Tails dies, so he murders. I spent a year and a half torturing Sonic with a plague, so we'll call that messing with him. And Knuckles is my boy, so yeah, we'll marry.
And they were doing the same thing with Eggman, Rouge, and Shadow.
Hold up. I want a round on this. Okay, I know I poo-pooed the question, but I feel like Knuckles might be really intense to marry. Like, I feel like he's like not socially adept like he should be, like growing up in isolation. So he might be like really weird at parties and stuff like that. So I just think it's something you should think about. Okay, what's the next question? You don't even have to respond to that. What's the next question?
Yeah, but he's devoted, man.
Think about loyal.
It. He spent his whole life guarding a rock with nobody to tell him that he has to do it.
Yeah, but what kind of rock is he giving me? That's my question. I meant a ring, not in any weird way. Gosh, this is going off the rails. I can't believe you took this off the rails, Andrew, and not me. That's unbelievable. I had it off the rails for a second, but you have fully derailed us onto it.
We're covering every aspect of the Sonic fandom.
Well, Killian knows what my wrestling ring gear is going to look like. So it's not. I don't know if Killian wants to tell my idea or not, because it's totally off the rails.
I'm actually doing. Actually, I don't want to give that away yet. I'll wait on that too.
It's not my idea. I know that.
Yeah, tell your idea. I won't. It's not my place.
So with wrestling gear, you can do. And Killian will correct me on what it's called, but you could do tights essentially, and tights are sort of long form trunks, right, Killian?
Yeah, like longer tights, like that reach the bottom, like Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Or Hulk Hogan. I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy. Funny mustache, racist man.
This is so bad. So
Hulk Hogan, if you're listening, I bet you like Sonic 06.
So my ring gear, if I ever team up with Killian, is I'm going to have those long things out, and on one side I'm going to have Rouge, on the other I'm going to have Knuckles, and then right in my crotch area I'm going to have a Master Emerald with both of them reaching for it.
There's going to be there's going to be like 6 people that get that. I'm gonna giggle whenever I see it, but
I mean, Killian, we're teaming up on this one, so it's clear, and I can't.
So is Knuckles apparently.
I caution you though about that emerald placement, because the last time Knuckles and Rouge reached for it, it shattered into a bunch of pieces.
Could be painful.
Just saying.
It could be very, very painful.
And he sticks it.
That's my finisher. It's a shattered emeralds is my finisher. So there you go.
That's funny. Gosh, I wish Sonic the Hedgehog was more popular so people would actually get that reference. I would totally do that move. Gosh, that'd be funny.
So anyway, let's do marry, mess with, and murder Shadow, Eggman, and Rouge. So let's talk about them.
I'll take this one since you took I'll take the heat off you, Ian.
Tag him.
Okay, here we go. Mess with obviously Rouge because she's the I don't know if you guys have ever seen the fabled YouTube video top 10 hottest female Sonic characters.
There's only 9 in the universe, but that's okay.
Which is the most legendary of YouTube videos. And she's number 1 on that list, of course. Because she takes flight was one of the reasons. What would marry? Who am I gonna marry? Gosh. Shadow would be a loveless marriage, wouldn't it? Like he wouldn't so we'll have to he'd probably kick my ass, but I guess we'll try to kill him. And I guess I'm gonna marry Eggman because it would be a classic romp. But I want to marry Boom Eggman.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Also, he's definitely the hottest. He's definitely tiny little waist, big old shoulders, handsome young man.
He takes care of himself, to be sure.
He does. He's got a lot of free time, I think. God, I love the Boom universe so much. I actually, when I started reading the Archie stuff, I went back and read the Boom things other than the crossover stuff. I love the Boom universe, and it's honestly flips between that and Sad AM is my favorite. I have so much fun with Boom. So much fun with Boom.
I honestly miss writing for Boom. Kind of in the same way that Classic was such a fun romp, is that you don't really have to worry about consequences or long-reaching implications. It's just you have fun. You write something stupid and you'll make yourself laugh and you're good.
Yeah, it's the same reason I honestly get so excited when I see Mike Gallagher writing the super early Archie stuff. Because his stuff is so wacky and goofy, and the stakes are super weird, and
you're around number 27, yeah?
Yeah, so he I think he just wrote a couple of his last ones. I don't know how often.
Did you read Sonic versus Mecha Knuckles yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
That's exciting. Is that him?
That's him, and that's one of the tentpole early comics.
Yeah. No, I just did the first Knuckles, the first Sonic and Knuckles one. I'm very excited. I'm a little baby, little tiny.
I'm honestly jealous because of all of the many books out there. Mecha Mendes is one of those where I wish I could read it again for the first time.
I will.
I put in an order for
I will live tweet every reaction that I have.
Absolutely.
Don't worry. You will hear all my thoughts on it. It'll be like you're in my little stupid funny blue rat brain seeing all my hot takes.
I was ordering back issues of the specials, and they sent me that one by accident. I didn't even know it was a thing. So I cracked that baby open. I'm like, oh my God, because the whole thing is drawn by Patrick Spaziante.
Amazing. That's so exciting. God, and written by Mike Gallagher. It's such they do that in another special too. Isn't the Knuckles one like that too or something? Not the Knuckles one, because I think that was
there's a Supersonic versus Hyper Knuckles. Pretty sure that was written by Gallagher, and Art Mulhenny did the art on that one.
Oh, okay. But the pairing of Gallagher and Spaz, I think, is so cool. I think it's such a cool duo of cartoony look, but literally any kind of art style that you want to achieve. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh my God, dude!
I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready.
You're gonna have fun. I'm not gonna say anything else. I don't want to spoil any of it for you.
Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you. I love Metal Madness. I'm super into Metal Knuckles, or not Metal Knuckles, but Metal Knuckles too, honestly. But Metal Sonic is one of my favorite characters in fiction. I think it's such a cool design. Everything you want out of a doppelganger robot, the best it's ever done is Metal Sonic. I don't care about any other franchise and what they think they're coming out with the little robot men, but I give me Metal Sonic any day of the week. They don't do it better when it comes to robot doppelgangers. So good. Such a cool design. I love that he doesn't talk. It's so badass. It's so foreboding.
And then obviously, I definitely want to talk more about Sonic Speed Round still in effect here. You know, it's getting
my god, I'm not speed rounding at all. I'm sorry, I forgot it was a speed round.
So obviously, Chow's Hero Chow, regular Chow, Dark Chow.
Dark Chow.
Same.
Wow, I am so in the minority here. Except they do like a little spike ball that you can give your Chow after you give it something. And I love the animal you can give it. So that's the only thing I like about the Dark Chow. And I like a sinister Dark Chow that has like a grin on its face. Oh, it's so good.
And take his feet away too, so he looks like a little ghost boy too.
So the last Chow that I remember raising, I bred one of the sparkling Chow with one of the jewel Chow to get one of those translucent crystal-looking ones. Made a point of getting the feet off, getting the little spirit flame over the head, so it was very ghost-like. Made sure that it absolutely loved Shadow, and named it Maria.
Precious. What a moment.
It's so dark in so many ways. Oh,
and then threw it against the wall.
Oh, absolutely not. Maria's to be protected. She's a lovely little cinnamon bun.
Was it like drawing like Shadow with crayons? I love when it does that.
Oh my god, that's the cutest thing in the world. I love that so much.
This is what you wanted, isn't it, Maria? A Chow named after you.
That's so bad.
What do you want, Maria? Do you want a juice box? Crayon control.
Do you want to play with the funny little musical instruments in the schoolhouse?
Sonic, you will come to her recital. You will enjoy it.
Let's go see the janitor, who also happens to be the head of the black market. And the school nurse, who apparently is a psychiatrist. I don't really know.
Chow are multi-talented individuals. They can do lots of things.
True.
I like how the principal's a Chow. He's like, you're a Chow, likes triangle fruit. You're a Chow, likes round fruit. Your Chow is very healthy. It's 9,000 years old.
Is that? I wonder if that's within his actual reach. As I might have to talk to the board of ed. I think that's out of his actual PSP as a professional, and I think that's a little odd that he's making these remarks about my child. Speed round. We're going for Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going so fast.
And then obviously favorite Crush 40 song relating to Sonic the Hedgehog, of course. I know Killian's.
Yeah, that one's easy. Their version of Sonic Boom. No, I'm just kidding.
You narrowed it down to Crush 40, so thank you. Never Look Back.
That works. I could see that. I prefer to look forward, but to each their own.
I don't know. I feel like it's just a really good rock ballad in its own right, and it works really well in terms of Shadow as well. But also, God, everything else. Yeah, just the Crush 40 music, just straight up. You can't pick.
Usually the theme song of most of the games are phenomenal.
They're all great. Sonic and the Black Knight has a soundtrack that is way better than it has any right to be. Holy crap, dude.
I like the demo version of Sonic Heroes when he's just mumbling through the lyrics. And there's no lyrics. Like,
well, I like the Knuckles levels because I think those raps are fantastic.
That guy's canceled, though. That guy is apparently not a very nice guy, I think.
I agree. It's just that if you start listening to all of it, it's all in your head, is all I'm going to say.
Well, that and it takes you half an hour to finish each stage the first time, so you're going to hear it on loop at least 20 times.
True.
And so. And then obviously, I want to ask, favorite Sonic video game?
Classic or modern?
Anything except Mario. The Olympics do not count. Smash can count.
Smash is an experience in and of itself. If we're talking classic, it's got to be Mania Plus. Sonic 3 and Knuckles held the title for the longest time. Mania was really good, but then Mania Plus brought back Mighty and Ray. And, I mean, it's just so exquisite. 3D, it's a toss-up between Generations and Colors.
I like Adventure 2. That's my favorite, of course.
Another good one.
Typical.
I'm
Typical
Adventure 2 for
millennial.
some reasons. And then I love, I enjoyed Sonic Heroes tremendously.
I like Wrath of Cortex. It's my favorite song.
And then I also enjoyed Shadow the Hedgehog because Shadow's carrying a gun. That's the only good reason.
That is funny that he has a gun, and
it's awesome. It's like a hedgehog carrying a gun,
but it doesn't kill them. They just look up at the sky in a very Shakespearean way.
Forsooth, why hast thou wounded me with thine firearm?
All right, Ian, we don't want to keep you any longer on the 30th.
So obviously, I think
you.
speed round
Thank
is done. We've been talking for a while, but I do
Yeah.
want to give both of you an opportunity to promote yourself. So I'm going to let Killian go first so that Ian gets the last word.
Okay, I got an issue of Sonic IDW 42 coming out that I wrote. Really good. We got cool artwork. I have a show that I directed and produced coming up on IWTV. Coming up this Tuesday at 8 from 8 to 10 is our time slot, and then also catch Candy Coated Kingdom this Saturday that I helped direct and produce, which is super, super exciting. A couple really cool shows. Saturday at 8 and then Tuesday at 8. That's our schedule. Both directed, both produced by me. Got Candy Coated Kingdom first, and then Killian Vision, truly my masterpiece. I'm so excited. It's my metal virus, Ian. It's my metal virus. This is
Excellent.
We're very, very excited. I get a little funny remote and I take control of everything, and I have power over the camp and nobody can stop me. We're super excited about it.
Does Camp Leapfrog have a code for a few days for free?
Yeah, Leapfrog. If you guys want to get IW, Ian, if you want to check out the show, it's all you got to do is type in Leapfrog on IWTV.com, and you will get all their content, all their content, and it's absolutely fantastic stuff that we're so excited for. We for the first time ever, we're not funny. We try to go serious in the main event, and we're like a serious cinematic with like drone shots and really cool angles. Like, we really blew the budget for this one, boys. We're so excited.
Wow.
I'm sure Chris is happy about it.
He better be happy about it. I put my heart and my soul into this. That's like the producer of everything. He better be happy about it. Our team did all the editing. Like, we're so excited for it. We're so excited for it. At one point, get this, Dustin turns himself into a pickle. Mind blowing. And then I have this book called Dragoon that I've been writing too.
Oh, you went there. You went there. All right.
No, I'm just kidding. Ian, go ahead with your stuff.
All right. Go to bumbleking.com. That's Bumble like the bee, King like the reigning monarch. That is the hub of me. That's got my entire work portfolio, my release schedule, calendar, which is probably woefully out of date. A online store where you can buy signed comics at cover price. Is this live right now? You're going to be releasing this episode later on?
We're live. Oh, we're live.
Okay. If you're a My Little Pony fan, there's a sale on all those books going on right now because I've worked on those, including the incredibly bizarre but lots of fun My Little Pony Transformers crossover.
I have never been a brony. I've never been into Transformers, but the absurdity of that crossover existing makes me want to be into both so bad.
I know, right?
What a fun idea. It is so cool that you got to do that.
Absolutely.
Of course, because you're like the crossover guy, right? Like you're the man with the crossovers. You're like Allen Iverson. I think the Allen Iverson of comic books is what they call you. But that's like such a cool concept.
And it's got links to my podcast, Bumblecast, where I do Q&A every week. Gaming channel, which is not really great, but whatever. We play video games. You can listen to me talk sometimes. You might find that entertaining. And my original web series, Drogoon, as Killian was so kind to drop earlier. We're actually going to have some news on that very soon. We're going to be restructuring it a bit, but there's 70 pages of free content for you to read right now if you want to see what I can do without anybody looking over my shoulder. This was like my cathartic release. No licensors, no editors. It's going to sink or swim on my own merits, and I'm propped up entirely because Adam Bryce Thomas is a freaking beast when it comes to the art. So
yeah,
give it a look-see.
And then obviously the pre-order for the Dark Horse book is up on Amazon.
Yep.
I'm sure you can get it elsewhere, wherever you get your books from. And obviously I think that's coming out in late October, early November, or maybe, I think it's November 26th it's actually dropping off the top of my head. And so obviously that's something to pre-order. And if you pre-order, from my understanding, you're sort of locked into a pretty relative good price on Amazon for the most part. And that book is going to be a monster of a book. Obviously today, 30 years of Sonic the Hedgehog dropped. Last week, issue 41 came out. Next month of Sonic the Hedgehog, I think 42 is coming out, and that cover B is fantastic. Obviously, if you like IWTV, the Transformers My Little Pony book, first issue was phenomenal. And
that's my thing. IWTV. I know it's a lot of I's and a lot of W's. IWTV, that's my thing. We did the bit too much. The bit started coming true. Now you take all my stuff, Ian. I'll take the funny pony books.
And so obviously you can pick up that book, and those books are awesome. And obviously there's a cover in cover B, and there's some variants I think as well for those books out there. So obviously a lot of ways to support people here. And so I'm going to be saying it, continue to say it. You have to support indie creators. Obviously, I have Killian, who's a wrestler. Support him with his links. Ian's links are up there too. Support him. Actually, listen to the show. Buy from his store if you want signed copies of comics. It is super important to support indie. Obviously, follow people on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And obviously, I don't know if anybody wants the final word. If you guys want to fight each other, I don't know who wants the final word here, but
Tap out. Killian would fight the floor with me. I know it.
We're gonna set that up. We're gonna do a comic book cinematic for my title. Me against you.
Tell you what, if we ever actually get in the ring together, I will don the persona that I wrote in the Sonic X book. I will be El Gran Gordo. Perfect. I will be the luchador.
And I'll ref it.
I can get that. Don't say it because I'll get it booked. I can get it booked. I have the means. We have the power. We can rebuild him.
Hell, dude, I'll shave the mutton chops into place. I will make this happen just for the hilarity of it.
Oh, my gosh. My manager wears mutton chops, so you would match him 1-1. I'll get it booked. It's settled. It's settled. That's the final word. Be out for that Killian Vision 2, Revenge of the Flynn.
Well, on that note, I have nothing else to say.
Oh, I'll come up and I'll have a pistol. It'll be a badass scene, right? And it'll be the funny Omachow gun from Shadow the Hedgehog. And I'll look at you, and we'll go out on this because we got a minute and a half left. I'll look at you dead in the eyes, Ian, and I'll say, are the freedom fighters going to come to IDW?
And then I will heft you out of the ring and say, ciao.
Oh my gosh. And in a puff of smoke, he's disappeared, never to be seen again. Oh my gosh. What a scene.
It writes itself, really.
It really is. It's a beautiful art form. America's finest, that and jazz music. Thank you so much, Ian. This was so amazing. Really cool manifestation of my fandom to be able to sit here on the 30th anniversary. An absolute honor to sit here with you. You're the man. Thank you, Andrew, for getting this together. You both are the absolute best. Thank you. So excited.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
I'm beaming.
Well, thank you for being on, because I'm clearly not prepared at all. I don't know how to speak anymore. And I'm just fortunate that I get to interview people and that both of you wanted to show up, and it's amazing. And I know that we wanted to do this, I think, earlier, about 4 or 5 months ago. And so I'm just happy we got to do it this year and we got to do it on this date. And this is an awesome way to celebrate Sonic, 30 years. And it's been around for 2 years longer than I've been alive. So obviously I'm super excited. And I'm very appreciative of both of you for taking time out of your day to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog and get a little unprofessional with it as well.
And 12 years longer than I've been alive, actually. You know that.
Well, on that note,
Believe it or not.
You age so gracefully.
I know. Oh, my gosh. I'm like Benjamin Button.
And on that note, we have nothing else to talk about, so that is a wrap.